Good afternoon and welcome to our Good Sound Audiology Happy Hour. With me today is Stuart Johnson, who is with us from Starkey Hearing Aid Manufacturer. Is that correct?
Starkey Hearing Technologies.
Thank you, the correct terminology. So I want to welcome all of you with us today. If this is your first happy hour with us, I hope you're at home or in your office and you have a glass of water or a glass of wine. Every month we like to reach out to you and talk to you about two things I'm very passionate about. One is wine and one is better hearing. So today I'm actually going to let Stuart talk to us a little bit about the wine because he's from Oregon and he brought us, I'm actually familiar with this vineyard, but tell us where you got this wine today.
Basically the wine is actually from Washington, but
Oh,
it's on the border
that's right. Yes.
of Oregon and Washington.
Yes.
I was from Oregon. I moved very recently just across the border to a little city called Washougal.
Right.
It's on the Columbia River, and it's kind of on the last city before you go up the Columbia Gorge. So it's kind of a nice little Mayberry RFD type of a community, in my opinion. I wanted to move to a smaller city.
Right.
The winery is about 70 miles up the Columbia Gorge from me, and it's got an interesting history. A guy named Sam Hill, he was a railroad baron landing. He
Right.
was very rich, and he bought or had a mansion built for his wife Mary.
Yes.
So his name being Sam Hill, he called the house the Maryhill House. That was in the early 1900s. He passed away, she passed away, and they turned it into a museum. And they have artwork from all over the world. Kings and queens he was associated with and knew very well, had donated a lot of artwork and different
Right.
items to the museum. Interesting, the winery is right there too, as well as Sam Hill built a World War I memorial. It was the first one built in the United States. And it's an interesting memorial because it's an exact replica of Stonehenge. And it's just an interesting place you can drive up to, you can walk up to it, and it's what artists have envisioned Stonehenge looked like, right when it was built.
Right.
5,000 years ago. Or
So I've been to this vineyard, but I don't think I saw that. So again, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Dr. Jessie with Good Sound Audiology. Welcome to Happy Hour. We have Stuart Johnson with us today from Starkey Hearing Technologies, and we're talking a little bit about our wine this month, which I think it's a red blend?
It's a red blend.
It's a red blend from Maryhill Vineyards, and I have been there, and I forgot that you're right, it is on the Washington side. So fabulous wine. So cheers, Stuart. Welcome to Happy Hour.
Thank you.
I'm going to have a little sip real quick, and we will talk about better hearing. So Stuart, tell me a little bit about your role with Starkey.
My role, technical title, is I'm the Regional Business Manager. Dr. Jessie and Good Sound Audiology, they have a team of people that support them in any way we can, customer service, inside sales, marketing, outside technology folks, and myself. My region, they call it Region 9, which sounds kind of boring to me, so I renamed it the Mountain Region, and it runs from Arizona on the Mexican border all the way to Montana on the Canadian border, so I've got a very, very, very big territory.
And you get to visit all those areas?
Yeah.
Yes.
I am on a plane every week, and I don't mind it because I know other people that do what I do, and their territory is LA, and that's just driving around all day in traffic. So.
And you know what? Stuart is joining us today. This is going to be an archived happy hour, so I don't know if you're going to see it live today or if you're going to join us 6 months from now, but it's 120 degrees outside, so you flew in from Oregon, right?
Yeah.
You were at home, so anyway, we're very appreciative that you came because nobody wants to come to Arizona in the summer.
71 degrees and it's
Yes,
100
yeah. It's a little toasty here today, hence all our nice summer decorations. And you've been with Starkey for quite a while.
Originally started in 1992, and Starkey just doesn't hire people and send them out the door. They started me off in shipping, receiving. I was in the shell lab. I was in all make repair. So they start us. They want us before they let us out on the road. They make sure we know our product and what's going on.
So speaking of your products, again, Starkey's been around for a long time, longer than I've been around, and I've been around for a long time. So I do fit recently, over the last few years, I fit quite a few Starkey products. Mostly right now I'm fitting, as you know, our practice fits mostly high-level technology. And I work mostly with two products. One right now, currently, if you talked to me 6 months ago, the answer would be different. Right now I'm working mostly with a product called Muse and a product called Halo. Do you want to speak just a little bit about that?
Basically, we introduce new technology about every 18 months. The Muse is, and the Halo, they run off the same platform. And our hearing aids are basically similar or pretty much identical to a computer. A computer, you have the Pentium chip that's driving it, but you also have all the features that provide that too. So we have a two-platform chip that we're able to miniaturize. So these hearing aids now, they have one of the chip is solely designated for sound and speech clarity and different things like that. The other chip that is inside the hearing aid also is specifically for music.
Right.
And the algorithms are all built into it for listening to music, and generally people would complain, they say, the music just doesn't sound like it used to. It doesn't have the bass, it sounds tinny. So that's one of the features that we've incorporated into this new Halo 2 and the Muse technology. So it's doing very well for us.
It is doing, yeah. Like I said, as long as a product keeps working, I keep fitting it. If my patients love it, then I love it. It's really that simple. So again, for those of you joining us, I'm Dr. Tina Jesse with Good Sound Audiology, and today we are privileged to have Stuart Johnson from Starkey with us today. Again, there are different hearing aid manufacturers, and today we're definitely going to talk about Starkey, which currently is probably my favorite manufacturer, again, because my patients love your products. And again, that really is the whole thing for me. If they do well, then I'm going to keep fitting it. And
so one of the things that Starkey, we kind of pride ourselves on is, and you'll hopefully back me up on this, is we feel that we have the best customer service behind our hearing aids.
Right.
And Bill Austin, one guy, owns this company, and he's empowered every employee there to make the right decision of what's best for the patient and what's best for you, so that if you have some issue that came up and you came to me, I don't have to go to my boss, who goes to his boss, and get you an answer 2 weeks down the road. Pretty much, if it makes sense, everybody at Starkey is able to make a decision based on what's best for you.
Right.
So that's a unique. The other thing, we have a live operator. We there's a lot of big companies. We're a $1 billion company, and I get frustrated when I call up another big company like my phone company, my cell phone company. And,
you can use names. You can say names.
And it'll say punch 1 for sales, punch 2 for customer service, and by the time you've done punch, you have a live voice every time you call Starkey.
Right, and that is, I will, I don't know that my patients appreciate that, because I'm usually having to call Starkey on their behalf, but that is a huge advantage, I will say, because you get a live person, and if I have a problem in that moment, I need a live person to make it better, and that is really nice. That's the other thing I will say that I really do like about Starkey is the customer service, because mistakes happen. I would love to tell you, or my patients, that I never get a lemon, so to speak. It doesn't exist. There's no perfect manufacturer. These are made by human beings, and there will be occasional errors. But what is really nice about Starkey is when there is a product that is not up to specifications, it's taken care of immediately, and then some. And the other nice thing is that those things happen rarely. So again, but when they do happen, I get a live person on the phone, and that's really nice.
So you asked me when I started in '92, and basically I've been in kind of around this industry all my life.
Right.
My father worked at the Oregon School for the Deaf. My uncle was a professor of audiology at Oregon State University teaching.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Students like you. I did industrial hearing testing for many years, and that's driving a van around, and you go to steel mills and sawmills and do. It's a law that OSHA mandated in 1982.
Right.
So it's kind of always been in my. I've always been around it, and in 1992, and you know this too, there was 59 manufacturers worldwide building hearing aids.
Right.
And today, there's 6 manufacturers worldwide building hearing aids, and Starkey's the only American-owned and American-headquartered, and it's owned by one gentleman. And the other 5 manufacturers, we all build good products.
Right.
But Starkey is the only American-owned, American-headquartered, and a lot of people like to buy American.
Of course, I know a lot of my patients do.
If the technology's there, then I think
Yes.
people give us a shot.
So I want to speak to that, but we actually have a question. What's our question, Elena?
So it says, Chris Pelletier says, the only wine I know is from my kids asking for more money, but I'm curious about what other products you offer people other than hearing aids.
So that's a good question. What other products do we offer besides hearing aids? So obviously, at Good Sound Audiology, we're completely committed to providing better hearing. In addition to that, we would really like to prevent hearing loss. So we do a lot of work with ear protection, custom hearing devices as far as hearing protection devices. We do musician plugs, we do sleep plugs, we do swim plugs, anything that's going to go in your ear, prevent hearing loss, prevent loud noise which can cause damage to your hearing, and then obviously anything that's going to help give you better hearing, we're going to try to provide for our patients. But that's a good lead-in, because another product that I'm really excited about, it's brand new, and we literally, my colleague Dr. Klein just did our first fitting today, is a custom Broggy product. So most of you probably have never even heard of those words.
There's a new word now. It's called a hearable.
The hearable, yes.
And there's quite a few startup manufacturers that are building these devices, and they're a stock device, so it's not custom fitted.
Right.
And so it's a stock device that you can download music, upload music into it. It measures heart rate. It's kind of like a Fitbit type of thing. It'll measure your activity, so on and so forth. And
it's waterproof.
Waterproof.
So and I'm sorry I don't have a sample for you, but it's so you can do a custom product, which is where you're going to come see myself or Dr. Klein or Dr. Strike to take an impression. And if you're going to spend $300 to $500 on these products, you want to make it custom. And when I tell you why, you're going to say, oh yes, I want to do that. If it's not custom made, it's just not comfortable. We've all had those Apple earbuds that don't fit, or we're at the gym and they hurt our ears. If you just run in, we can take an impression. This is now custom made, and this little device, it's pretty cute. It's small, it's all right here, and by swiping your fingers, you can do all sorts of things. You're streaming music, it's doing your heart rate, it's waterproof, you can swim laps with it. I am leaving out a lot of things that it does.
It's got its own app, so if you have a smartphone, you can go into it.
Yes.
It measures all these different activities that you're engaged in.
It does everything, and it's all right here. It's called a hearable. So that's a product by Broggy, and again, we're doing the customized version. So people are calling our office, we take impressions, and this is fairly new. I know that we just placed our first order and literally fit it today. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And we partnered up with Broggy. It's a German company, wonderful technology, and we had the idea, exactly like you said, if it's just a stock product, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't feel good. And with a custom device, it's fit for your ears. All ears are different, so it's personally made to fit your ear, and it's comfortable. And if it's comfortable, people are going to wear it longer.
Exactly, and it does everything, really. It does everything but buy you dinner. I mean, and I will also tell you, if you guys are like, well, who would want this? Who would need this? Again, this isn't something that's it's not a hearing aid, so we're not talking hearing aids right now. This new word, hearables, it's a device. They're coming out with them where these little pieces you put in your ears will do all sorts of things that you've never imagined happening. I mean, hundreds of songs, your heart rate, how far you've gone for a run. I mean, just tons of information all right here. If you want more information on that, what I'll do is I'll have Elena maybe put a link or somewhere so you can learn more about the custom Broggy product. It's great. These 20, 30, 40-year-olds who like everything tech-wise are going to be all over this. So if you have a son or a granddaughter and you don't know what to get them, this is going to be a very hot item.
And this is the only custom wearable or hearable on the market.
And again, the price is set. I have no control over the price. I think the custom product we just fit, I think it's $4.99. The non-custom, is it $3.99? $3.99. Trust me, you want if you're going to spend $300 to $500 to do the custom product, that's kind of the easy part.
The sound quality of the music is phenomenal. It's got a good deep bass and full range of audible.
Right.
So it's a very nice device.
Yeah, so I'm going to encourage you guys to look at this link because it's pretty exciting stuff that's coming out, and some of it you're not going to be able to imagine that all this little tiny piece can do this in your ear. So I do want to go back to, you were talking about Starkey and how there are now really only 6 manufacturers, and Starkey is the only American-made manufacturer. I think that's really important for my patients or people who are considering hearing technology, especially if you're here in Arizona. Things you have to think about as a consumer is so many of my patients are snowbirds, probably, gosh, I don't know. I always say 50%. I don't really know if it's that high, but a large percentage of our population in Arizona are snowbirds. So if I fit a product, and they're going to love that product, they're going to wear that hearing aid for 16 hours a day. Those Halo hearing aids they do not want to take out of their ears. If they go back to Coffeyville, Kansas, or Anchorage, Alaska, and there's a crisis, something goes wrong, you have to have providers. You have Starkey, you have to be working with a manufacturer that's all over. Not only all over the country, I have people who fly in from out of the country for hearing aids. So I have to fit a product that I know if they're not next door to me, I can still make sure they're being taken care of. So when you're considering buying hearing aids, that's another reason to stick with Starkey, I think, because you guys are all over.
We have a network of, you're with the Shaw Group,
Right.
Starkey Hearing Alliance, and there's probably 900 locations nationwide there, as
Right.
well as other Starkey offices in every single state, pretty much every single town.
Right.
So,
How about every single country?
I
know you guys are, I mean,
we're number one in the United States, and we're number 2 worldwide.
Yeah,
So
so-
we're in,
Again, good information, because I think that's really relevant for my hearing aid users who are looking at getting hearing aids for the first time. You don't just get the hearing aid and go away. You have to be able, this product must be taken care of, and you have to find people who are familiar with this product so they can really give you the best hearing. So I did want to speak to that, because I think that's something that Starkey really excels at. I do want to remind you to like this event and share this event with your friends and on your Facebook page if possible. We found that these little happy hours, we have some people who can show up live, but where it really is I think people are getting the opportunity to see it is more later on. Is that correct English? More later on. So anyway, if you can share this event and like it, that would be great. Back to, I also want to talk just a little bit about Halo. Halo is a hearing aid, just like many others out there, with the exception that it is considered a Bluetooth hearing aid. Now, I don't know about you, but I found it interesting that for the last 5-10 years, I have people come in who say, oh, I have a Bluetooth hearing aid. And the reality is, if it's 10 years old, it's not a Bluetooth hearing aid. There are now more and more Bluetooth hearing aids, but there are really still only a few. I think most big manufacturers now have one. But if your hearing aid is what, probably more than 4 years old.
it's not Bluetooth.
It's not Bluetooth. It may be Bluetooth compatible, but a lot of people don't appreciate what they have. So if your hearing aid's more than 4 years old, it's not Bluetooth. And what does that mean? Is that relevant for you? It may or may not be. If you are, in my opinion, currently an iPhone user, you're almost silly to do any other products. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And that is because these Halo hearing aids, what makes them nice, if you are an iPhone user, anything that comes out of your telephone will now stream
Directly to
your Halo hearing aids.
Previously,
They need an accessory.
They needed what we call a dongle. They would have to wear
Right.
something so the phone would be here in your pocket or your purse, and it would stream to the dongle, and the dongle would stream to the hearing aids. And usually there's a little bit of a delay with that, and that's, everybody gets irritated watching the TV
Right.
show, then the sound isn't matching the
Yes.
so that was a problem that we saw. We partnered up with Apple to
Right.
develop the Halo product, and now we're working with the Android platform, and we'll have Android compatible devices shortly.
Do we know how shortly? This could be big news. So from what I understand right now, the Halo products will work with Androids, most Androids, newer Androids. However, currently, there's an application called TrueLink that you would put on your iPhone or your Android if it's compatible. This application allows you to change your hearing aid settings. So I always give this example. In the past, if my patients were at Thanksgiving dinner, they can't hear what's going on, their family becomes frustrated. Our Novembers and Decembers are very busy because they come in the following Monday and they're like, I couldn't hear a thing at dinner, my wife's really angry with me, and I would then reprogram their hearing aids. Well, what's nice with this Halo product and using that TrueLink application is you can pull out your Android, pull out your iPhone, and change your settings right in that moment. So everyone else is already on their phone, might as well pull it out quickly, and we show you how to very quickly make adjustments. So then in that moment you can hear better.
We call it geotagging, and what you would do If you have like a favorite cafe or a favorite restaurant you always go to and
Right.
it's a little noisy, you can fine tune it just exactly the way, tap on it, and it could be, Arizona Steakhouse. And
Right.
when you leave the steakhouse, it goes back to its normal setting.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go back to that steakhouse, you want to go to the settings for Arizona,
Right.
you can do up to 18 of these location GPS
Right.
settings.
Yeah, so they automatically change when you drive into that location. So from my understanding, because I've fit quite a few of these, those features work with Androids and iPhones, if it's a newer Android, and an iPhone 5 or higher. Where iPhone, I think, is outperforming right now is the streaming ability, which means anything coming out of your Halo product, or out of your phone, forgive me, anything coming out of the telephone, be it your music, your books on tape, your phone calls, will now stream to both ears simultaneously. And that's a wonderful feature for really anyone with hearing loss. And that's what the Android at this time does not do. Now, are you saying that this is going to come out? And are you confident? Because I've been waiting on this for like 3 years.
We've
And
all been,
Yes.
we've been waiting to, but when we went in to develop this product with Apple, and then we had the information, the application we needed, we approached Android, and Apple said that the collaboration was proprietary. So
Right.
we had to redevelop totally different, non-proprietary.
Okay.
So we have, I think, 450 engineers back in Minneapolis world headquarters that are there. They know they have to get this done.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because I have Android users waiting, just waiting, and I've been like for 3 years, I'm like, in fact, I've said, I'm not going to promise you when this is going to happen, but I know they're working on it because it's all about money. And people want to hear better on the phone, and we all use our phones. For those of you just joining us, I'm Dr. Jessie with Good Sound Audiology. This is Stuart Johnson with Starkey Hearing Technologies. Thank you for joining us for Happy Hour today. Also,
One other thing I
yeah.
wanted to mention about the Halo 2 is with the smart app, the TrueLink, you can, if you lose your hearing aid, because they're little small things,
right,
you can say find my hearing aid on this, and it'll
Yes.
basically remember the last time the phone and the hearing aid was paired up. And audiologist in Boise, she tells a story of this gentleman that lost his hearing aids, and it was at the Boise racetrack or something,
Right.
and he went back there and
and
there it
found
was.
him, and there they were. So it's funny, because when I'm demonstrating that feature to my patient, I don't really have many hearing aids getting lost in Arizona. I had more in New York City. For some reason, they'd pull them, this was years ago, they'd pull them out in a cab, and then the cab would drive off.
Yeah.
But I don't have as many hearing aids being lost here as I have dogs chewing them up. But what I tell people when I'm demonstrating that Find My Hearing Aids feature on your phone, because again, you click on your phone, Find My Hearing Aids, it's going to pull up the address where your hearing aids are located. And so I always tell them, if you're lost, you can go to Find My Hearing Aids, because they're all wearing their hearing aids, and it will tell you exactly where you are. So
It's kinda fun.
again, it's kind of like Find My Hearing Aids, Find Myself,
Find me.
wherever I am. Speaking of the Halos, again, one of my favorite products, just because of these Bluetooth features. My patients who love the Halo hearing aids are the ones I always say who've worn hearing aids before, because they appreciate the features that are being offered. And it's really not about features, it's about quality of life. They can now hear on the phone. They can hear on the phone in a noisy restaurant. They can adjust their hearing aids in a noisy restaurant. That is life-changing for my patients. So I love these hearing aids. These hearing aids, as all really good hearing aids are very expensive. My Halo hearing aids are between $5,000 and $8,000 for a set. What do you think here? Well, not what do you think, you probably know. You're the manufacturer. Why are hearing aids so expensive?
There's quite a few reasons. Like I said, 25 years ago there's 59 manufacturers. One of the reasons that there's only 6 now is we'll spend anywhere from 60 to $70 million in 2017 just on research and development.
Wow.
So it's a very competitive industry.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we have most of our engineers and researchers are in Minnesota, but we have a separate think tank in Berkeley, California, and they're working on ideas now in Berkeley that won't come out for 10 years. So we're just not engineering something to bring it out in March of 2018 or somewhere
Right.
else. We're thinking, 2020, 2022. I mean, it's from the time that you and I both started back 25 years ago or so, we were building the best devices we could back then.
Right.
But they didn't have the adjustability or the features, obviously, that we have nowadays. We had passive filters, which would be a little tiny bit of a high cut or a little bit of a low cut, and we say, how's that sound? About the same. How's that sound?
Yeah.
About the same. You'll get used to it, and that's the best we can do. And nowadays, it's pretty much, a lot of you might remember graphic equalizers. You can go to individual bands and adjust them and give them more bass or less bass. Everybody's got their different preferences of what sounds good to them. You could have the same hearing loss as me.
Right.
I could build you the exact same hearing aid and program them, and you might say, I don't really like the way this sounds. And so, boom, you're able to get on your computer and pretty much dial in that device to what sounds best for that patient.
Right.
So that's big, and you know, nobody in this industry is I mean, I'm not a millionaire, I'm not rich, and you're living a comfortable life, but you're not rich, so it's not like we're buying, or you're buying something from me for a very, very small price and inflating the price so much.
Right.
And I'm not building something that doesn't cost me anything, and so it's the margins are slim, and when we have to build our own machines, you know, because we just can't go to some plant and say, yeah, we need to buy XYZ widget and to build our own. We have to manufacture our own machines.
Your own equipment.
On the little fishing line, like a receiver tube, we built a machine that basically yanks on it 30,000 times, 40,000 times, just to see how much stress, because we want to put a good product out there and be able to back it up and confidently know that it's going to perform.
So you had mentioned right before we started about a video that kind of addressed the process of making hearing aids. Where can we find that video? It's
on YouTube. If you went to Starkey Hearing Technologies and Starkey Hearing, the art and science would be good keywords to Google. And it's a quick 3-4 minute video, but it basically walks you through the intricacies of everything that goes on between the engineering part
of designing a hearing aid,
all the way to, I mean, I can build the best hearing aid in the world, but it's really not going to do what needs to be done without you and your expertise and your art skill, and that's why we have all these trainings all the time, so that we bring it back to our factory. We have regional trainings just so that we can make sure everybody is doing everything they can to maximize the performance of our product.
Well, I know that since I've been dispensing hearing aids, when I started they were about $800, and you know, they've not gone down in price. But I will also say I have happier patients than I've ever had in 25 years of practicing. So I always say to students coming into our field, it's great work, because if you're fitting products and hearing aids that aren't changing people's lives, it's really a miserable day, because you're just, you know, it's miserable. I would not do what I do. But because the technology has improved, and with that the price has increased, it's still fabulous work, because with the technology that I'm fitting today, we have I always say hearing aids should never end up in a drawer. Hearing aids should never be having to be pulled out in a noisy restaurant today. If that's happening, I didn't do my job, or someone didn't do their job, because the technology there is so much better. But yeah, cost is still an issue. Good hearing aids are not cheap. You can get them for $29.99, but they're probably not going to really change your life, so why bother? Save your $30 and, you know, go to dinner. We have just a couple minutes left, and I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the Starkey's Foundation work. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
Like I said, Bill Austin bought a little tiny hearing aid repair lab in 1967, built it into the nation's largest manufacturer, and about 17 years ago he pretty much turned day-to-day operations over to the employees. A lot of us have been there a long time. And he started a nonprofit called the Starkey Hearing Foundation, and people in Africa or South America or places like that, third world countries, they don't have the ability to walk into a state-of-the-art clinic like this and get hearing help. So they're not even diagnosed. They just, you know, they're considered deaf and dumb. So, and all they are is they're not deaf and they're not dumb, you know. But so basically, he flies around the world providing hearing help to people that cannot afford it. I think we're at 1.9 million hearing aids given out free worldwide. We also take care of our own. We do missions in the States, so we do take care of poor people here that cannot afford hearing help, and it's all volunteered. I went on a mission to Tanzania for 2 weeks, And it's a life changer when you see this little girl that's 7 years old that's never heard her mom's voice, and you put hearing aids on her, roll the volume up loud enough, and all of a sudden her eyes just light up. And you know, when I got back from Tanzania, I went back to my old job, and I thought, this is kind of boring. You want to keep doing it. It's pretty addictive.
Well, we participated in the local. They had a Super Bowl. Wherever the Super Bowl is, do they do that every year? Wherever the Super Bowl is, Starkey does in that city of wherever that Super Bowl is. They will do a mission. So when the Super Bowl was in Phoenix a few years ago, we had, Elena, how many people did we have?
We brought 27, I believe.
We had like 27 people that we brought, 27 of our patients that we provided.
And a lot of football player superstars like Larry Fitzgerald. I'm sure Larry's a pretty popular guy.
It was a fun day. We had horrible weather, but it was a fun day.
He's been on missions, so he supports our...
lots of people. I've seen some of the videos.
Yep.
So we are unfortunately out of time. I want to thank you all for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed your wine if you're sitting at home. And I would like to invite you to like this event and share it on your Facebook pages if possible. That would mean a lot to us. We're trying to reach as many people who might be interested in better hearing as much as we're interested in providing that for you. So if you can like and share this, that would be fabulous. I want to thank you, Stuart, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
In sunny, hot Arizona. I also want to give a heads up for our next happy hour, which is what date, Elena?
Oh, July 19th.
July 19th will be our next, so we'll put out some teasers on who our guest is going to be when that's coming up. But yeah, it's the third Wednesday of every month, 4:30 to 5 p.m. Arizona time. There will be a different wine. I also want to thank Stuart for bringing our wine. He brought the wine for us from Oregon, so I didn't even provide the wine, but cheers. Thank you. You guys have a great day, and thanks for joining us. Take care.